BodyHat Weekly.
BodyHat Weekly.
BodyHat Weekly.
BodyHat Weekly.
Moka Only. davepsy.
Moka Only.
Moka Only.
davepsy. Moka Only.
BodyHat Weekly.
BodyHat Weekly.
BodyHat Weekly.
BodyHat Weekly.
We're just here to break an album on down.
It could be popular, but possibly not world-renowned.
The meat and potatoes of a critical sound.
You're bound to like the little bits and isms we found.
We might have guests or might just be us,
but you're invited, so might as well kick it as such.
So y'all sit tight and let's discuss the cuts.
Just some musical views from some fools you can trust. You know what's
BodyHat Weekly.
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 A weekly.
BodyHat Weekly.
Moke.
Peace. What up?
What's up, yeah?
What up?
See Amy in the house. What up, Amy?
What are you doing, man?
You can hear me okay?
Yeah, you're fine, man. You hear me fine?
Yeah. I've never done an Instagram Live before.
Yeah, well, welcome to it, pal. And besides, this is not your ordinary Instagram Live, and people are going to find that out soon. This is the start of a new podcast show with Sai and myself, Moka the O, also known as Mr. Gruesome.
Mr. Goose.
Yeah.
Let's
tell people what this is.
Yeah.
First of all, the title.
So we decided to call it BodyHat Weekly, and you see the title flashing across the screen. We're calling it the test run this time, just because this is our first time, and we want to see if this even works for Instagram, or if we should move it to a different platform afterwards, or whatever. But the idea is, and the reason we called it BodyHat is this was sort of prompted by our extensive historical conversations about oft overlooked accomplishments in hip-hop.
In rap, such as Digital Underground's BodyHat Syndrome album. And if this show works out and we continue it, every show is dedicated to the memory of Shock G.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
It's fitting to add that we're doing this on Wednesday, aka Hump Day.
Most definitely. Absolutely.
Our aim is to have, it could be sort of just a talking shit show, not a shit show, but also interspliced with interviews or just hangouts with notable rap luminaries that are peers of ours, and maybe even some people we don't know. So that's it.
And I think the loose idea is to center each episode we do around a different record, or at least to discuss it and see where it takes us. Transition.
We're gonna try. Oh, 1 second. 1 second. Oh, crotch. All right. So.
Oh, look what you got. Do you see this?
I see it.
Right at the top of my finger. It's the same thing.
I see it. It is the same thing, isn't it?
So for the uninitiated, this is what Moke just flashed up on the screen. Digital Underground's 4th project that they released, their 3rd full-length album.
Yeah.
What year did it drop?
1993. If I'm not mistaken, it was October 93.
So one of the craziest years in hip-hop by pretty much any metric.
Yeah.
And this is one of the records that really doesn't get talked about from that year. And I think we're here to discuss why it should be more in the conversation.
Absolutely. And I mean, in my world, it wasn't that I had become uninterested with what Digital Underground was doing. It was just, as you said, there was so much going on. I was getting my own rap career off the ground. This album came out with what I recall, very little promotion in the same way as previous outings of Digital Underground. So it kind of flew under my radar. If
Yeah,
you
yeah, and I think
will you?
I absolutely will, and I think we've, through digging into it a little bit, we've kind of learned that maybe the lack of promotion had something to do with them sort of fulfilling contractual obligations with Tommy Boy, and maybe them just kind of trying to finish up the deal a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I glean. And as far as everything I read and heard, I think that was effective.
But I will say that I did check for it when it dropped. I used to collect these VHSs that were called, I think it was just called like Rap Video Monthly or something.
Yes, yeah.
It was like, it was like one of those, not like quite like a BMG thing, but like you sign up and they send you a thing every month in the mail, send you a VHS. And so I think it might have been the first video on the edition that it was on or whatever. It was Return of the Crazy One.
Yes.
And I thought it was a big deal.
I was aware of that. That was the first single, for those who don't know. And I was aware of that when it came out. But like I said, I was just, man, my mind was all over the place trying to be a rapper, you know what I mean? Can you hold on just for a sec? I need a lower chair because this ain't working.
Yeah, do it up. Do it up.
Entertain the people.
Well, okay, so crazy things about this album. First of all, if you guys don't know the backstory about Digital Underground and Shock G, like, it wasn't just him and his buddies, Money B, DJ Fuse, etc. It wasn't them just making records to be a group. His MO was also to be a launching platform for artists that he respected, who he thought had potential to do things. And so you saw over the years a lot of artists really getting their first legit exposure through Digital Underground. Obviously, we know about Tupac.
Yep.
But the guy that shows up in a major way on this record, who went on to have a pretty dope, at least start of a career on the West Coast scene.
Saafir the Saucy Nomad.
He's the boss, that.
And he all over this album. I mean, he was a big part of it at that time. And this was prior to the release of his inaugural debut album.
Yeah, and what's funny is when this came out, I didn't even know who that dude really was. I mean, he had that little freestyle joint that he did on Casual's album that was crazy, but Boxcar didn't really hit us until what?
Yeah, but
95?
That Casual album, if I'm not mistaken, did that I don't think that even dropped until like January 94.
That's right. It hadn't dropped yet. Okay, so this was before Fear Itself.
Yeah.
So this was the first exposure really anybody who was outside of like the underground Bay Area scene would have had to Saafir.
Yeah. Basically, Shock G just had his finger on the pulse, and just finding interesting people who had something different to offer. Clearly.
Yeah, I mean, a couple albums later, he brought us Mystic, right? She was dope as hell too.
Shout out to Saafir.
I wanna just grab something real quick. I'll be right back. 2 seconds.
Hello, people. And for those of you who just joined late, this is the inaugural session of the new podcast between Sai and myself called BodyHat Weekly. And that's what we're doing.
And we fully intend to have homies join us on this.
We
When
full
I initially,
homies.
um, when I initially mentioned this, Moke, I kind of framed it like, yo, what if we did like a book club, but instead had it be for hip hop records? And so the idea is to convene people and talk about joints that don't get talked about.
Right.
And there's so
And
many out there.
easy because of streaming. Like we don't have to be mailing records and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You just like you could pick you could have somebody study the album if they're unfamiliar with it, and then or refresh themselves, and then the following week when we're fully versed again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look, so what I have here, just real quick, and the reason I'm holding this up, not just because this is the album we're talking about at the moment, but if you can see, it's the 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
This joint just came out earlier in the year.
Yeah. And
Maybe
speaking of things, that kind of came out under the radar itself too.
It did.
It really is.
And it was, I think it was launched like on Record Store Day or something like that. But yeah, it's pretty cool. There's like a comic inside and colored vinyl, and I bet it can be found for less than the like $40 that it was originally released.
I'll bet it could be found less than $40 for like released.
So if you don't know this album, it's a good way to check it out.
Yeah, we should just let's just begin and just talk about this first.
Should we delve?
Let's just delve in our realm here.
Into the realm.
Yeah. Man, you're making me wish I had like set up a proper lighting, but this is fine for now. I'm in the shadows. I'm in the
This is I have my phone like propped on my laptop, so the laptop's doing the backlighting.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. All right, that works.
Genius. All right. So
again, BodyHat syndrome was unlike anything else that Digital Underground had released, like the prior, like this was a real wild pitch in a lot of ways. Let's get into why that is.
Yeah.
Or how that is, in what ways.
So first of all, I mean, we already talked a tiny bit about the first song, which was also the first single. And
I think maybe we should just do that, like kind of the chronology of the track order.
Yeah. So I think it was a good first single because it was kind of a reminder, like, remember, we're like the party crew and we're gonna make fun shit. And obviously Humpty going crazy and being debaucherous and clever as hell. I used to chew bubble gum, make them laugh while I'm loving them.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, that track is rife with so many quotes, man. Hookers get mad because they can't make me come around their way. Addicted to their way. Yeah. Lest we forget, to my knowledge, that video could not be aired in its original format because of nudity and debaucherousness.
Oh, yeah? That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like probably like an X version, X-rated version.
Shock was doing to maybe shake himself loose from the contract. I mean, he really seemed to push the envelope. Because also, I mean, as a first single and a Humpty Hump, the party fun guy, that's a lot of salacious verboseness throughout the two verses of the songs. I mean, there's things that like I wouldn't repeat those around my mother. Like, and this was there's no swear.
We
no
put
cuss
away the
words.
broom and we broke out the vacuum.
Yo,
Yeah.
yo, Gabriella needed an enema. Like, yo.
That's insane. Yeah. But you know, you think about it and like Humpty Dance, right?
Yeah.
He had his Burger King line. He had, he had all that stuff. He had to one up it on that.
Yeah.
And I think in a lot of ways he did. It's not going to be like the legendary song that Humpty Dance was. Nothing is. But
Yeah. But
um,
I mean, besides lyrically, let's talk about the music though. The music was unexpected too, because this single dropped and gone were the sort of the clean funk Moog bass line type of things, and in its place was this jazz beat,
yeah.
essentially. Like
And this was one of the more like straightforward beats on the record, I feel like.
yeah, more in the line of what people would call boom bap now too, and the whole album is littered with this. It's like a mashup. It's like you hear bits of the previous Digital Underground funk, but also hear this texture that they hadn't really utilized to the same degree throughout.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, I mean, some of these joints, like he was sort of doing the same like copy paste from so many different sources, the way that he did with like Do What You Like, where Do What You Like samples like 8 different songs for
Yep.
that. And there's several of those in here, but it's definitely more modernized. But the second track, Do Woo You, is one of my favorite beats on the album.
Yeah, let's get into that. So this
Just
Do
to keep
Woo You track, the Do Woo You track, the second track on the album. I mean, it comes in. It's basically it's like bass harmonies, or what sounds like bass harmonies. It could be keyboard. I haven't been able to identify exactly if that's bass or keyboard. It's kind of hard to tell.
I think it's both.
Or it's both.
I think it's both. And then yeah, and then there's a crazy sample. I mean, I'm assuming it's a sample. I don't even know where it's from. I've resisted really like digging deep into the liners for this, and like
the sample you're talking about.
The it's like in a higher register.
Oh, the horn?
Yeah, it's got the horn. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where that horn's from. I haven't delved into it. I mean, at one point, I think I did look on whosampled.com, but it was severely lacking. I mean, it wasn't really, whoever controls that, I don't know what's going on, but people haven't really offered very much in exploring the genetic.
He brought something in that sounded almost like a theremin.
Yes, there is that
in
the background that comes in and out. Actually, if you listen to that track, I mean, there's so much going on. There is layers and layers and layers. As that is the first song on the album where there are guest players on the song, if you will.
So yeah, so first of all, it's the first song that Shock shows up on. Really,
first song that Shock shows up on, and second
and does the whole Shock thing where he's sing-songing and a little bit of rapping and a little bit of just talking over the beat. And
this is the debut. This song, Do Woo You, the second song on BodyHat, is the world debut of Saafir the Saucy Nomad.
What do we have here? Which, by the way, I quoted that for one of your Martian Christmas joints that I'm on.
That's right. Right. I forget what song that is.
Plug. Yeah, I think it was on. I think it was on the most recent Martian Christmas.
Oh yeah, it was. It was the party song or whatever. I don't know. You and me, we do a lot of party songs.
Yeah, one of the party ones.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know. But let's get back to the. I mean, the song also. I think like topically, it's pretty apparent what they're digging into. Basically, it's like Fear of a Black Planet, that sort of idea.
Yeah.
Very clear. I mean, they're handling racism, or basically just the fear. Like it kind of remind me of the not In Living, the Living Color song. Funny. What was that song called? Funny Vibe.
Oh God, I don't
Remember
remember that. I had that tape way back.
Anyway, I mean, if you listen to the song, or if you're familiar or you're not, and you listen to it, you'll totally get it. I mean, there's some speaking in code, obviously, but
Right.
it's right out there.
But it's yeah, it's, you know, don't be afraid of us. And I think there's a little play on like, let us do woo you. There's a little bit of like party with us, but there's also kind of like the sexual aspect of that, right?
I mean, and throughout the album, this was a highly sexual type of affair.
Yo,
like whole record.
look at the freaking cover. Like,
Before we go further, let's talk about the concept, what he was trying to go for when
yeah,
you look at the cover of the album.
look what
Body
they're inside of.
The concept of the body hat was basically, it had a lot to do with the times being 1993, you know, with the fears over AIDS and other things, but it was also the concept of protecting your people, your inner cipher, whatever, from the whackness of the outside world around you. So basically, it's like you know, a, a condom against whackness, basically, you know?
Totally. And he defines that on Do Woo You, actually, because
He
he
does.
said to protect us from the fades, the falsely diluted education syndrome.
Say that, repeat that again.
Falsely acquired diluted education syndrome. That's why they need a body hat.
Body hat to block all the ooey gooey brainwash nuts with the bag. Make them drip up on the shaft of the system. Yo, like right as soon as Shock shows up, I mean, he is at peak shocktivity. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he's more shock on this album than ever, if you ask my opinion.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. Like the
and not to
temper.
This I know maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves, maybe not, but this is the humpiest album of Digital Underground's catalog. There's more hump on this album than any other Digital Underground project.
And it's been said, like in interviews, that like he was intentionally trying to push it a little overboard.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was also him being completely uninhibited, which we probably didn't see on any other record, to at least not to this extent.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So I've got the tape version in my hand. I know this this version on the cassette differed a little bit than the vinyl and the CD, as there's a couple songs missing, so I won't go off track order here, because also some of the tracks are like weirdly placed, like they're not on the other versions, like the order. So
okay,
so
the third track,
I think
largely.
Okay. One more thing.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to remember the name of the two brothers that are on this track featured in the background. What was the group's name? They're the group that Shock had done an appearance for with a song called No Brothers Allowed.
No Face.
No Face. Yeah, so the two guys from No Face are on this track, and it actually took Cy and I a long time to identify just who that was.
Right.
Still me, like, I remember thinking, I was like, that's not George Clinton. There's no fucking way. Is that George Clinton in the background, like kind of trying to do some melodies? And, you know, did some digging and found out that it was the guys from the group No Face.
Yeah. Oh, man, there's so much going on. The yeahs and, them screaming shakalaka frackalaka at the end.
Which is another complete you know, it's a shockism and very likely a funkadelicism or parliamentism, if you will, because, you know, digital shock particularly borrowed heavily or, you know, extended the torch relay from the originators, you know.
Hey, yo, look at you with the segue, because the next song on the album is Holly Wants to Hoe.
Exactly. Which is based
Lar-
on, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Pure Parliament Funkadelic, right?
Yeah.
Or was it the George Clinton solo record? I don't remember.
Nope. That was Parliament Funkadelic.
Was it? Okay. And then
Oh, what was it?
Holly Wants to Move to California, living in
Hollywood,
Hollywood.
Hollywood, right?
It might have been his solo joint.
It might have been, yeah, his first, right, from 1980.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's possible. Holly wants to hoe.
Oh.
Yeah, Holly Wants to Hoe, which was another joint featuring Saafir. And man, there's a sample right off the top that I cannot identify at all. That what a wonderful, what a wonderful, what a. Do you know what that is?
Was that a sample, or was that him?
That's a sample, because the song even ends with that. It's a sample, and then you can hear join in. You hear Shock, and then you hear Saafir.
You don't think he just looped himself?
No, it's not Shock voice. This is something else. What a wonderful, and there's like a little piece of music attached to it too. For some reason, this is completely unfounded, but for some reason in my head, like I feel like it was a sample from maybe PM Dawn.
Crazy.
Because
it probably is something like that.
The sound of the voice, the relaxed nature of it, the silly music behind it, and being that they're if it was from hip hop at all, which it sounded like, I can't think of very many other groups that would have. What a wonderful. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like a PM Dawn thing, but I have yet to verify that.
Potato Heads in the house.
Potato Head people, what up? What up? What up? Congratulations on their new release, by the way.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm really looking forward to taking that in.
I'm on it.
Are you?
Where are you? I'm on it. Redman's on it. Oh man, Ty is on it.
Ty, like Ty Ara?
No. K-pop.
Oh, okay.
We'll, you know what? In the future, let's probably like have Potato Head as a guest, and we can get into. Let's keep our focus on this. So, what else do you want to say about Holly Wants to Hoe? I mean, musically, there's once again there's a lot of layers going on. You definitely hear a stronger feeling of the funk, but once again, the drums sort of do their own thing, and they're more in the crunchy boom bap territory.
Yeah, yeah. I love how Saafir ends his verse. Oh,
Saafir's verse is kind of like, wow.
Personnel. Holly likes to hoe. He showcases cleverness, like,
yeah, but
always foreshadowing like his crazy rhythms, his crazy patterns.
All she felt was the knuckles beating her down. Like it's kind of like, wow.
Geraldo.
I mean, he was painting a picture, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So what can you say? It was a picture indeed. What else do you want to add about Holly Wants to Hoe?
I don't have a whole lot else.
Hey,
actually, there's also that chant that becomes more obvious towards the end, where it's like, if that hoe don't stop, if that hoe don't. And to me, that reminded me of some type of shit that you would have heard on Bizarre Ride. I don't know what.
Yeah.
But like, it was that type of vibe.
I mean, and Bizarre Ride had come out the previous spring too.
Yeah. It was that similar playfulness where like they collectively found something to say, but like layered it underneath it all. So,
look,
you know,
I even made the connection there. I mean, they're kind of, you could sort of deduce that there was like little shades of farsightness in the album certain
I think
points. I would.
in a way, it's almost like Farside gave them permission to like openly go in that direction.
Could be. Could
Maybe
not.
that's taking it a bit far, but
that might be reaching, but maybe not. We don't know. I mean, shit. We should have got Money B on here or something like that.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? In the future, we can.
yeah, I would love that.
There's
Yeah,
there's
there's a whole list of people I'd love to get on this joint.
a whole list of people. We'll get Trash.
Yes, we have to get Trash.
Yeah.
Brand New Swetta.
Brand New Sweater is the next track. That's one of my favorite on the album. Absolutely.
Yeah, I like it.
Like conceptually, Brand New Sweater was basically about somebody who's just too clingy. They just won't let you have your own breathing space. You know, you meet somebody, and this was pertaining to a female in the instance of the song, and just right off the bat, you're being smothered. So it's kind of a playful dissertation of that sort of situation without any stipulations or ramifications. You dig? I don't mean to rhyme so much. It just happens naturally because I'm a rapper.
It's crazy how that works.
Yeah.
Yo, and again, it's Saafir. Dude, he's all over this album.
He's all over this album, man.
You know what? At this point,
and was Money B on Holly Wants to Hoe at all? Was he? I can't recall.
I don't think he has a verse. I think he has backup vocals.
Right.
So at this point in the album, we've gotten more Saafir than we have Money B.
Brand New Sweater does showcase a Money B verse.
Yes.
And I love that verse. Actually, side note, I love Money B's appearances on this album. I mean, he is as Money B as it gets on this release. I mean, the guy is he's so full of like this unique brand of spirit, you know what I'm saying? There's none like him, you know?
No, he's so great. And like deceptively skillful too.
Absolutely.
And a perfect foil for Shock.
Yeah. Sidekick, whatever you want to call. I mean, I don't think anybody likes to be reduced to the, sidekick. But let's remember how Money B got in the group in the first place.
Raw Fusion.
Shock. Yeah, well, Shock was he wanted to get DJ Fuse to join the group. And Fuse is like, I'll join, but on one condition. I'm in a group. You got to bring my man Money B. And whatever, they agreed to it, and that was it.
Pretty cool that he stood up for his guy like that.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to a different deal otherwise.
Raw Fusion, shout out. Big shout out. What up?
And I mean, now, Money B is carrying the torch for digital. He's still touring. They're still doing things.
Yeah.
Obviously with Young Hump in the picture. Peace to Young Hump.
Out to Young Hump. A lot of shout outs here. What up? What up? What up?
Yeah.
Okay. So
we'll talk about Young Hump later.
And Brand New Sweater, I mean, those horn the horn sample there. She wore a lot of leather. That shit.
Yeah. I think I'll never forget.
Now, Hump is not on this song.
No.
No. Let's move on. Let's keep it moving, yeah.
Baby said, ooh, shooby do. Okay. Oh, one thing to mention. There is an intermission later in the album where they just play like the core beat for Brand New Sweater.
Yeah.
And
Brand New
I was like,
Brand New Sweat this beat, and it's the second to last track.
There, yep. And when I was like starting out rapping, I used to make tapes of instrumentals that I would find on singles or albums and stuff like that. And that was one of the beats that I used to freestyle to all the time. I was so grateful that they had put that on this record.
That's wild you say that. I had joints like that too. Like back in, I remember in 1990, I used to extend the end of a Tribe Called Quest, Description of a Fool.
Oh,
I
yeah.
used to do the two ghetto blasters thing, or the dual cassette or whatever, and I would extend that because I just loved rap. I even entered rap competition using that beat.
Really?
Yeah, DJ Sound War in 1990.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it was 90. Might have been 91. I think it was 90. Anyway, if there was, but yeah, back on track. What's the next song?
Okay, next song, big deal. It's BodyHat's Part 1, so it's the title track.
Yeah,
but it's only the first segment of the title track, the first third of it.
There's 3 BodyHat pieces on this album that is like plays on the variations on the same theme. The beats largely the same with a few minor differences. But I think it was brilliant the way that he did that, the way he laid that out, like breaking it up to help keep the album thematically coherent. I think that was brilliant.
Absolutely. I agree. And, it gives you a chance to play around with it. You put them together and you have a full song.
Yep. I don't know why I just did.
I don't know what to say about it. I mean, it's freaking weird.
Yeah.
But you could say that about almost every single song.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he really, this
song
is
that's not weird.
He starts to actually talk and explain what the BodyHat is about.
Mm-hmm.
And the beat is all over the place, man. Like, once again, multi-layers. There's little hidden things that pop up. You really got to hear it.
I think a lot of people found some of Shock's production to be like cacophonous, and they didn't have the patience for it.
Was like more than any of the previous outings.
Mm-hmm.
This was a confection of cacophony.
Confection of cacophony. And what's wild is that he went completely the opposite direction on the next record, because Future Rhythm was like digital at its most mellow and melodic and lovely.
Most futuristic.
And futuristic. But that's close.
Where this album was BodyHat Syndrome it didn't have that feeling at all, unless, well, we'll get to the song Digital Lover when it's time.
Yeah.
Let's keep it moving.
Da 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 da.
Oh, do you believe
in D flow?
The track
Money B with his dancehallism.
That's the name of the track.
It's called Dopadelic, in parentheses. Do you believe in D flow?
D flow, that's right.
Yeah.
Do you believe in D flow? Yeah.
And Money B with his jump up, which is just classic.
Yeah. Jump up.
Money B.
Yeah.
This is, to me, I still like it, but it's not one of the standout cuts for me.
All right.
It keeps the album moving along.
When you're listening through because I can't just sit and I'm going to listen to one track on the album. No, I listen to this album every day, and I have to listen all the way through. It's just the way I do.
Yeah, it's not
with
a skip.
Exceptions that I would get to, because I did a little butcher job on the album, like later on after it became digitally available. Pardon the pun.
Yeah, when you get to that, I'm going to have something to say about it too.
I'm going to have something big to say. All right.
Where's my light? The light's disappearing.
That's just fine. That's just fine. I don't know what to really say about that track, other than I can't picture the album without this track.
No. Again,
but I have too much to say about it, other than I really enjoyed Money B's performance on it.
There's a lot of Money B. Was Clee on that one too?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought you knew it was to Clee him.
That's right. Clee's dope. You know what I never checked for was Money B and Clee's album together.
Cletus Matt. I didn't know they had an album together.
They do. I don't know
Huh.
how, like, what level of release it was or anything like that, but I remember, like, way back in like the Audio Galaxy Soul Seek days, that was one of those joints that was floating around.
Word? Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
This is news to me, Sailor.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
maybe I'll have to follow up with that. But
I think perhaps. I mean, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this.
Mm-hmm. But it exists.
Yeah. Hey, this is the track. Wasn't this the track? I mean, we're shocked. He really let loose. Was this that one where he's just like, the first thing you need to do is admit the fact that you're whack? Is that this song?
Right now, oh, what do we do? What do we do? Yeah, I think it is.
Down. Fool, put the Tylenol down. You're better off going and looping some Digital Underground. Yeah, that was this, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Shock really let loose on this one. I mean, he was digging into the proverbial whack MC harder on this than anything else previous. He was really going in.
For sure.
He was
almost
an instruction of how to not be whack.
It is. It's an instruction.
The first thing you got to do is admit that you're whack, and then we can move on from there.
And it features another like obscure vocal sample that I have no idea what it's from.
Which one? The Do You Believe?
No. But that's awesome too.
There's another one. You're right. There is another
singing one. Whoa, yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know what that is.
Okay. So to keep it rolling before this takes longer than the album itself.
Oh, I know. Let's keep it. Let's try.
Intermission came next.
Okay.
What even was that? I don't remember.
The intermission.
Yeah. Did you freeze?
Why are we talking at the same time? Yo, when you say intermission, do you mean with Tupac?
Is that what it is? Where they're like talking about all of the songs that sampled Humpty Dance?
Is that what it is? Look on the back of the damn record, sire.
I'm looking, guy. I'm looking. It might be because I don't see Humpty Dance Awards listed. So maybe that's what the intermission is. Intermission.
It just says intermission?
It just says intermission.
That's bizarre. And clearly it's not on the cassette. Or is it? Oh, yeah, you're right. It's on the cassette. It says intermission. I don't know what the hell that is, man.
Yeah, me neither. That's just weird.
What are you doing? Your taxes? What's going on?
No,
I'm
trying to pull it up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's only. No, I don't know what this is.
I don't know what it is. Intermission. Who knows what that is?
The underground. Gonna stay down with the funky beats. 80.0 Tokyo FM.
Yeah, I'm not with. That was
Okay.
Yeah, that's a mashup intermission of noises. Well, I don't think we need to talk about that very much.
Yeah, no.
Now, after that, what is next? What's Up with the Love?
Yes.
Okay.
And
I gotta tell you, man, I'm not a fan of the song, and I know you love the song. What's Up with the Love was a song that featured Tupac, Clee's on it. Not kind of, if you know, no offense, but he doesn't really sound like Clee on it.
Money B is on it.
He is on it. Shock G is on it. Now, Sai, let me ask you this, because I'm kind of hazy about it. Was this song, was What's Up With the Love, do you think that was really intended to be on this album, or was it maybe created post haste to under record label pressure?
I think, I don't know if it was due to pressure or not, but I think a big part of it was we got to get Pac on this somehow.
Sure. Because
it doesn't fit.
Look, I think the song on its own was great, like decent at least, and I think it would have had a better place on like Sons of the P or something like that than this. To me, it sounds like it really doesn't fit on this album. So later on, when I repurchased this album digitally through iTunes, I actually got rid of that track on the album, so I didn't have to be bothered by it. You know what I mean? It's just, to me, the song is like some really light social commentary affair. Maybe it was good intentioned. I don't think Pac was all that hot on it, and I love Tupac, but
oh, I beg to differ. I love his verse, but let me just say that this song is like one of my favorite songs of all time.
Have to beg to differ. You can just differ.
I ain't too proud. No, this is I think is one of like the dopest songs of all time, like any genre. This is a huge song for me, but
glad you like.
I don't think it really fits with the flow of the rest of the album, and I'm betting you that's why they put the intermission right before it, because they had to do something to break it up in order to allow for that to be on it.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, we could have talked to Shock about this album, you know what I'm saying? I would have loved to like pick his brain about it, you know?
Dude, Money bought his son a gun for his birthday. That's heavy.
What's that?
Money B bought his son a gun for his birthday.
In the song.
In the song. Hopefully not in real life.
Yeah. So, yeah. We just got to clarify for the people.
No, it's yeah. I mean, you know, it's brings up gang violence. It brings up, you know,
yeah. So like topically, I mean,
all of that.
It was pertinent for sure, but once again, in the scope of what I feel Shock was trying to achieve with the album, I think it's a misstep. That's all. Or not, you know, the song maybe not be a misstep in itself, but I just don't feel like it belonged on the album. That's all. And maybe you're right. He wanted to get Pac on it somehow, and that worked. You know, Pac delivered. It's not my favorite Pac performance, but
yeah, no, I get that. Yeah. You know, they went emotional with it, and the rest of the album is like decidedly unemotional.
Yeah,
so,
that's putting it.
Because the next thing that comes is Digital Lover.
All right, so I gotta tell you, man, Digital Lover.
You need a tuna fish sandwich.
Listen, Digital Lover, Dave, might be my favorite song on the album. I think it's great. Let's tell the people what it's about. Largely, the song Digital Lover is an instrumental joint with porn samples.
Yeah. Yes.
But it was the way he chopped it up. Like it sounded like the type of thing that was made on like a pad sampler, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the feeling it had. It is just raw. It is like one of the most rawest songs, and obviously like you can hear the Roger and Zapp sample in there, and also in the song title itself it's alluding to computer love,
and it's the beginning of the second side of the album if you're a side person.
If you're a side type of person, if that's the side that you take sides with, as being a side type of person, not a side type of person.
No, definitely not that. But I think
What's going on with your mustache, bro?
What do you mean?
You got you
It didn't
changed
leave.
it,
What?
huh?
Huh?
What? All right, so Digital Lover. So there is vocal appearances on it, and you know, at first it's Clee, Saafir, and Humpty and Shock just saying, "I need a digital lover" in their own special ways, but
You need a biblical.
out of nowhere, you know, I need a digital lover. Then you hear Humpty, or no, you need a digital lover, and then you hear Humpty,
Yeah,
you need a sandwich. And, like, the highest points on the album for me is just that in itself, man. I could quote that every
It's so.
day.
You know what? It was like he knew he wanted this to be an instrumental track, and he knew he wanted to sort of like flex his musical chops,
Right.
but he needed to do something silly to keep people locked in who might otherwise skip over it because it was just music.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's you know, a little rap segment on there between Clee and Saafir. It's sort of like a pissing contest, if you will. Will you?
Right? Yeah, yeah. You need a lover like me. Yeah, you need Saafir. Nah, you need Clee.
You
Yeah,
you
that was
think
great. The little argument.
call me Major. With me, they need to put a fee on the pager. Grinding the hips
It was like a rap. The girl is mine for a moment.
for a moment. And then you can hear Shock in the background doing his best, you know, Roger, you know, saying, what does he say? What's the little thing, the little motif he does?
I don't even remember.
I don't know, man. My head's clogged
Oh,
with right now, so whatever.
whatever. It was a dope joint. And then it leads into what might be my favorite song on the album, or at least like the most bangingest song on the album, if you ask me. And that's Carry the Way.
Carry the Way. Long
That big
brackets, a long time. Not
long
a
time.
long time, but a long.
Be carrying the way a long time. Man, what can I say about this song? It's got a little bit of everything.
What can you say about this song?
It's Shock rapping with a little bit of Money B, or a little bit of Humpty on the ad libs. The obesity.
Oh yeah.
Money B doing his dance hall thing again.
Doing his dance hall bit.
Um,
What?
Yo,
Can you quote
Saafir.
something from that?
What's that?
Can you quote something from it, from Money B's little?
What is he? He's like, "It no easy when you are a DJ.
Yeah, you know,
When you are Money B."
yeah.
And then said it's not easy being cheesy, which almost made me fall out. But
And that was kind of like the whole, like, they kept returning to that statement in the song, but it's not easy being a digital underground member, if you will.
right.
Will you?
How Saafir started his verse, and I think this is the verse where he really foreshadows the Saafir that we came to know on
Absolutely,
on
man.
on Boxcar Sessions.
With an itchy trigger finger.
Nope. One of the deals on them. I don't even.
Yeah.
That's a verse
Man.
that would like take effort to learn.
Man, love this album. I love this album so much. I guard it with my life. I love this album. Insane.
Yeah. And again, that bass line is such a banger. Body Hats Part 2. We could probably skip over it. I don't know. It's
what
the
did
second part.
Skip over it? What?
I don't mean skip over it in that it should skip.
Because we already talked about it. It's
That's kind of like
continuation of the theme of Body Hat. Although Saafir's got a great verse on it.
which one is that?
Isn't it on 2 or is it on on part one where I need a body hat. It'd probably be fat if I could get, you know,
The
that
pun
one.
was intended. Yeah. I think that is part two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saafir's version of that. It was dope.
Again, more of that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's dope, and it's just kind of cool, and the bass line on that song is kind of unsettling.
Hump is on that song too, right?
Uh, um,
On a side note, I gotta say this. I mean, Shock G was one of the very few people that could create. Shock G was one of the very few people that could create an alter ego, and when you hear it and see it, like you really feel like a whole different person.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Like it's so effective. You know, it just astonishes me. I mean, I tried to do shit like that, kind of like with Ron Contour later on. Which, for those who don't know, Ron Contour is kind of like my Humpty Hump with a little bit of Cool Keithism thrown in there too. You know what I mean?
But not so outlandish with the voice. More just like the rhyme style, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly.
But Shock had people like legitimately convinced that Humpty was a completely different person. And I don't think anybody's really accomplished that.
My man, SideQuest say Ron Contour was your alter ego. Yeah, he definitely. That's what I was trying to allude to. Was it was my Ron Contour was largely influenced by the fact there was a Humpty Hump.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there weren't a lot of alter egos back then. Like, yeah, you had Humpty, you had Cool Keith starting to experiment a little bit. You had Del with Unicron.
Right.
But like this was before Quasimodo and so many.
Okay, let's move on from this body hat. What we got next?
Well, I mean, the circus.
Part two, the song.
The circus entrance.
Yes, the intro to the circus. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, this is where it starts to get really uncomfortable.
If you're
very fun.
Uncomfortable type of uncomfortable getter, but you got to remember this was 1993, and talking about your dick was like a regular thing.
Yeah. Let me get more light going. It's a little better. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to the intro to talk about the intro to the. I'm like stammering and stuttering because I love this album so much. The butter and the bread and other things.
Dude's trying to get into the club.
All right,
I'm not really sure what type of club it is.
Okay, let's preface it a bit. It's Clee. He wanders into the scene over some really unsettling circus music in the background, and he stumbles upon, man, what is this? And you know, the guy, the circus master or whoever is trying to get people to come into the circus is like, hey man, are you lost? He said, nah, I don't.
Who is, man? Young Hump just joined.
Oh, good.
Here we go.
How fitting, Young Hump. We're talking about the Body Hat Syndrome album. That's also what we've named this interview show about. I don't know if you want to join this conversation or not, or if you just came to say what up, then what up. But we've been doing a deep delve on this, and it's my favorite Digital Underground album.
Yeah, you're fully welcome to join if you want. I should have given you a heads up, actually.
Or if not, in the future, we'd love to have you as a guest on the show and like just get into some heady subjects or not, or just kick it, whatever.
Yeah.
This is our first. I've never done no podcast, nothing like this. This is our first go with it, so that's what it is. Yes, my man.
Joe. Yep.
I need to revisit Body Hat Syndrome. I haven't listened to that album in mad years.
Now it's doing this.
Yeah, that's why we're doing this.
That's what's up, and that's the idea behind this whole deal. So next time we meet, we'll find another album that's.
Okay. Young Hump says I'm down, but we'll do it another time. That's all good.
Yes.
Just have some faith in us, young Hump, that I feel like we definitely know what we're talking about when it comes to this album. You know, this is, like I said, this is one of my all-time that type of for me.
We've studied this album probably more than,
of course,
I'm sure.
and we've been giving him his flowers definitely on this. You know what I'm saying? But, okay, and we've been taking this song by song, like a track order. So right now where we are was the entrance to the circus, and it gets a little bit uncomfortable where Clee is lost and he just doesn't know where he's at. That's what he said.
Yeah. What kind of place is this?
What is this, man?
He finds out in the most alarming sort of fun house
through riddles, basically, and it's sort of almost like an allusion to, like, you can picture what's that movie? God damn it. With the rabbit and all that shit. What is that? The girl, the rabbit, the picnic. What's that name of that movie?
Oh, Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland. It's got a feeling like that, the intro to this. And
it's sort of like some Mad Hatter shit.
Basically, yeah. Anyway, it's kind of creepy, but like in a good way. Like the way Clee interacts, I mean, like it actually sounds like some candid shit. Like it's well done for as far as like a silly intro goes. So Dave, let's jump into the song itself.
Yes, well, so the prevailing thesis of the song is lay it in your palm and you don't need a condom. Go grab a charger.
Oh, is that what you're looking for? All right. So I took off for a second because I guess his phone's about to die. I'm smart. I'm smart, and also I'm smart because I got this right here just in case. I can plug this up in the ass of my phone anytime I want, make sure it's lubricated and all that, and pop it goes. So we're talking about the Jerkit Circus. I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory in the title, you know what I mean? But the music is maniacal. Once again, Doc outdoes himself. God damn.
He does.
I got
a little circus theme on the synth.
Absolutely, and the bass, like it sounds maniacal, absolutely maniacal. But I love this song. I don't care what the topic is. It was par for the course for that time in hip hop. Why do you keep looking around? You look super distracted, Sai.
I'm trying to freaking make this chord reach. Don't mind me.
Distracted. You're gonna have to move closer to the outlet, my.
You're right.
Right.
Look at this. I might even have to go handheld for a moment. Oh my god.
Yeah. How apropos was that? Because
I mean, there's no time to do it.
No. All right. So, but yo, I gotta say something about this track because we getting off course here. There's too many distractions. You need to calm down, as Nori would say. I know. Fucking with you, man. It's all good. The vocal delivery on Jerkit Circus. What is going on with that? I mean, first of all, you got Hump, you got Money B, and this is a yelling song, if you will. Dave, would you care to elaborate on this?
Yeah, well, so first of all, I mean, just like even on the hook, they're all going, Jerkit Circus.
Lay it in your palm and you don't need a condom.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Nutty time with the Jerkit Circus, baby.
It's really all over the place.
Oh, and there's the Mary goes up and Mary goes down. Mary
goes round and around. Yeah. Pop goes the Bozak.
She rode the horse. It was wearing a hat. Pop goes the Bozak. Mary goes round and round.
Pop goes the Bozak.
But this time the horse wasn't wearing a hat. Dead went the Bozak. So it's a pretty self-explanatory song. It's like, about pleasing yourself, but it's like, it also relates to conceptually to the body hat.
Yo, another Bizarre Ride link.
Huh?
That's the only other record. Bizarre Ride has the only other record that celebrates masturbation. with the Buck verse on the DL.
Right. And let's remember that Bizarre Ride to the Far Side had come out the previous spring too.
Again, maybe that gave digital a little more permission.
Maybe.
Here.
Man, I still got 50% power left. That's surprising. All right. I don't need to stuff this up in the butt yet.
Yeah, I don't think I started on full.
All right. So have we talked about the Jerkit Circus enough? I say so.
Yeah, I think you can only spend so much time there. But then
you got to do it. But I'm just saying I think it's a standout cut sonically and what they're doing with the vocal delivery too. Do you agree?
No, I do agree. There's a lot going on. They broke new ground. And you know what? It takes up 3 tracks of the album because there was the entrance, there's the song itself, and then there's the circus exit, which in parentheses is called the Afternut.
Well, do you want to talk about that? I mean, it's just the exit. It's a bunch of weird. I can't tell if some of that is Shock doing the or Humpty, or if that was from a record. Because if you listen close, it kind of sounds like throughout the song it sounds like it's being cut in.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
So I don't know if that was from some old goofy movie or like a movie soundtrack or something like that. I don't know. Maybe Young Hump would.
And his creepy synthy funhouse chords. Doom 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 doom.
It's wild, man. But once again, and I said this with the other track that you said, you could have lived without it or whatever. I can't picture this album without the Jerkit Circus. It's silly. We know it's silly, but I just can't picture listening to the shit without that. Like it would not be the same affair,
And it's actually a testament to how much of a master he was at successfully creating the vibe that he set out to create.
Absolutely.
Because that song absolutely perfectly relays the message, as uncomfortable as it might make people to hear it.
It could age. I mean, back then, like I said, not everybody was doing it. You said Far Side was the only one that you can think of that was doing it, but we were talking about our dicks. Like that's a normal thing that we did in hip hop.
That's true. That's true. Usually in a slightly different context.
This was just slightly different. Well, slightly
not necessarily doing the same thing with it, but
track.
And then of course, right afterwards, right now, we're about to shake and bake.
God, I love Shake and Bake with that Eric Sermon sample, EPMD. Yeah. That shit perfection, man. I love Shake and Bake. And I mean, bro, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean Humpty, wow. some of the raps on this song, seriously, man. Man, I mean, I wish I could just quote it right off the bat. I just got so much shit spinning around in my head pertaining to this album, man. But dude, the sphincter muscle wrecker, shit,
yeah.
You want to blow me? Yo, baby, you don't really know me. Man, this song is a mucky party, bro.
Mucky indeed.
Yeah, shit is. This song gets moist, bro.
They really got gross for a nice segment of this album.
Absolutely, man. Would you have it any other way though?
No, I mean, I think that's part of what turned people off from it, and part of what attracted the freaks to it.
You mean this album or Digital Underground on a whole? We're talking about Gut Fest '89, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
And
I mean, they always had elements of
industry, bro. They from the outset they let it be known what it was about. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. But this was more concentrated.
This song, Shaking Concentrated Nut, for
Yeah.
those who know it.
Okay. And so then after that, they go into Body Hats Part 3.
BodyHat Part 3.
That rounds that off.
That rounds that off. Now, BodyHat Part 3 has some of my favorite quotes on it, though, too. Humpty hung his ornament in the wrong Christmas tree, so now let's all light up a big pack of butter beans. Let me also go back and say that, like, there's a lot of food items and things that Humpty's dropping on this album. There's a lot of butter beans
frequent.
and
None more
baked
frequent than butter beans. Sorry.
what?
None more frequent than butter
beans. There's a lot of butter beans on this album, and oh, how does he start? How we start? Shock starts it. Cheese, put some cheese between your knees. A fat pack of pinto beans, cabbage and beans and rice. That's why cats chase mice. Yeah. Some shrimp falafels. Roscoe's chicken and waffles. The condoms were invalid. Butter beans with egg salad. Yo, you got me right there, like starting a track off like that. That was right in my playbook, seriously, too, you know?
Yeah.
God, I love this album, man.
And yeah, and what is the little singing refrain that they keep coming back to? That they're using it, but now we just want to know it now.
Exactly, and that's what Hump was trying to do when he did his ornament in the wrong Christmas tree. Now let's all light up a fat pack of butter beans.
Butter beans.
But yo, that thing that Shock was doing on this track, I mean, he did that on all three of the BodyHat parts on the album. That melody that you're talking about. And once again, musically, there's a lot going on. There's layers. I mean, this, like the rest of the album, man, it's a big onion for real. There's a lot to peel.
For sure.
A lot of appeal.
It's layers upon layers.
You got layers.
They weren't done with the grossness completely, because next came Do You Like It Dirty?
Oh my God. Right. That's also one of my standout cuts. I know I said Digital Lover, which is like such a wild choice to make, but I don't know, man. Do You Like It Dirty with and musically like playing on that Potbelly sample?
Yeah.
The Lou Donaldson?
Yep.
Yeah, man. That shit is heavy, man. I got to stop you for a second because we forgot to talk about the Humpty Awards.
Right. Where is that?
It's on, well, I know it's on the digital versions.
Yeah.
I can live without it. And I do. I live without the Humpty Awards. To me, it's I get what he's the point that was making, absolutely, and
that's one of those skits that you got to hear once, and
you got to hear it, and then other than that, like I said, I just listen to the iTunes version now, so that track is X'd off of there for me because to me it interrupts the flow of the album. And to me, it felt like an afterthought. The Humpty, for those who don't know, the album, the Humpty Dance Awards, was Shock and Tupac basically making fun of the fact of how much the Humpty Dance drums were sampled by everybody and the lack of credit given.
Not just drums, but the bass line too.
Bass line, whatever. You know what
Any
I'm saying?
part of it, yeah.
So it's under the guise of an award show, and they're running down the candidates of, you know,
right,
the best usage. I haven't listened to that one for so long because of what I said. So did somebody win?
No, there's nothing like that.
But you
they
get
run down, for what it's worth. It's like, it's a really impressive and lengthy list. Like,
lengthy skit though, damn
it
it.
is a lengthy skit, and that's why I said, like, it's worth hearing once, because like it gives you a sense of like the sheer impact, the number of rap and R&B songs that exist because of the Humpty Dance is crazy. But
Yeah. Well, I don't know,
once you've
because
heard it, it's like, all
Dan,
right, that's cool.
with if without the Humpty Dance, they would have used something else. You know, they might have just gone right to the source, like the original source. You know what I'm saying? But who knows?
But like, yeah, I mean,
But also,
obviously
it was
none of those
also
songs would have been the same song.
it was also another opportunity to have Tupac on the album, and it's kind of a funny skit for Tupac to be a part of too.
Yeah,
Word up.
but he was on the same song. And this is all about how everyone's using the same song.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
How clever are you, man?
All right. Where are we?
Dude, we're out now.
Almost.
Aren't we? We're
brand new Sweat This Beat. We already talked about that. That's the instrumental.
We didn't talk about Do You Like It Dirty? We got
actually we didn't. We didn't. And some like it clean. Yeah.
That's got some of my favorite shock rhymes on the album. Like when he's talking about the I'm a hoe 5-0 pulled me over. What are you doing? What are you doing? Tinder? What's going on there?
No.
I see you like wiping.
There was a pop-up. I had to get it off.
Why would
you get it off of the screen?
Anyway. A hoe 5-0 pulled me over. I was doing about $130. She took me home to get flirty. Like that whole thing.
Yeah.
Yo, she shocks like, I haven't had a shower today. She said, come here. It's better.
It's better that way.
Like, this shit is so visual, man. And then, in my opinion, I mean, I can live with it, but Shock gets a little too visual on Do You Like It Dirty? Like, it's funny, but like, he's really like sort of painting a very intimate picture of what's happening between him and this lady that maybe not everybody would be down to experiment in that same fashion that he did. It's basically, eating the groceries, you know what I'm saying? And
it's the wild.
One. The song is so entertaining. Once again, I couldn't picture this album without it, man. And it continues this dirty ass theme that the whole that which is really funny considering like the nature of the BodyHat itself. I mean, this song is some raw shit.
For sure. But it's it's the wild storytelling skills. And again, that's also like, that's very much shades of Sex Packets, with the towel under the door and all that, so.
But to the next level, I mean, like, because nothing previous had reached that level of description, if you will.
No,
will
he had to one up everything.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So moving on, and he did.
I think that's one of the things that makes this album so successful in my eyes, is like, I feel like he did exactly what he set out to do on this.
It's funny you say that made this album so successful. Like, how do you measure the success? Because, like, I don't think this was a successful album.
Commercially, it was dead.
But what they were trying to achieve, I mean, like I said, this is everything we've talked about is why this is my favorite Digital Underground album. You know what I mean?
Same.
And it just became that. It took a matter of time for it to cement itself in those graces for myself. I don't know, probably for you too, huh?
Yeah. It wasn't immediate. I mean, obviously, Crazy One, Do Woo You, Carry the Way, like stuff like that hit immediately. But the other songs took longer to sink in.
Yeah, absolutely. So where are we at now? Do You Like It Dirty?
We're just about at the end. So after "Do You Like It Dirty" is
Brand
the instrumental that we already talked about from Brand New Swetta.
Brand new, yeah. It's sort of like a very short reprise of stripped down music from Brand New Sweater.
Yeah.
Which leads us to the final track.
Can I just do this one more time? It's all right. It's like what they did with Better for Worse.
Yeah,
anyway.
You are so right. That's in a way, right?
Yeah. I mean, a little different.
Because with For Better for Worse,
they led with that.
They prefaced the song at the outset of the album, like 3 songs before they even got to that.
Yeah.
This is like the reverse version.
Yeah, they led with
if you will you?
I absolutely will, because that's like my favorite Far Side song. But anyway,
that's my favorite Far Side song too.
Is?
Well,
I'm
besides
no
like a couple joints that I did with them, so
yeah.
We'll
count it.
Yeah,
we'll accept
it. We'll count it.
Let's
get to we. Do you notice on We, like the music opens up and it's like a lot more cheerful. It's the darkness has sort of been peeled back.
Absolutely. It's just a party. They're having a party. So much damn fun on it.
That's a funky track though too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
got the beautiful the keyboard arpeggio like during the hook.
Background people in the background helping out with the hook.
Yeah, who knows how many people they had in the room for that?
I don't know. But another thing about the song "We" is I don't know, but it seemed almost as if Shock had challenged all participants to keep their first take.
Yes, or even
because the song is rife with mistakes, including Shock himself.
Including Shock. John Madden football.
Yo, he says so much shit. Yo. There's a lot. There's so much shit he unravels. But yo, my favorite shit is both of Money B's appearances on it. The first one where boss called. What does he say? The boss said it's cool if you could come to work early.
Naked.
Halle Berry laying in the bed, butt stankin' naked, and he makes a mistake and has another go at it and just can't get to the end without laughing.
Right.
I love
I
that.
just kept it. It's just like whatever. And then it's Saafir at his all-time most embarrassing.
Wait.
Okay.
Back it up. The other Money B verse on it where he does an 8-bar rhyme where nothing rhymes, and you're not really aware of it until he states that fact. Kind of like when you kick 8 bars and not rhyme once and still sound
right.
But let's move on to this Saafir verse, which was clearly a freestyle, and it's almost, I feel like it was almost mean-spirited for Shock to allow Saafir to only have that one take.
I mean, I'm willing to bet he wasn't thrilled with the fact that Shock went ahead and kept what he did there.
That's what I'm getting at. I mean, it could be wrong. Maybe Saafir, later, either he didn't care or he's just like, I gotta lighten up. Maybe that shit was all right. It was fun. It captured like the mood. You know what I mean? But, knowing from what little I know about Shock, you know what I'm saying? Well, I won't say what little, but you know what I'm saying? Not knowing Shock, it seemed like he would have put people up for the challenge and had to adhere to that, being like the ringleader, you know what I'm
saying? I laugh every time I think of some of the things he says on that song.
Who, Shock? Or no, Saafir.
Bing,
bong, bing, bong.
He has camel humps on his back.
I've got camel humps on my back. Yeah.
If you only knew like Boxcar Sessions and like Mr. No Saafir, you wouldn't even believe that he says the things he says on this track.
What about a latecomer to this album who'd never heard of Saafir, period, and they just happen to hear We Only, and they hear him? You know what I'm saying?
Like
They'd be like, what?
they'd probably agree with the last thing he says on the song.
Right. For those who don't know, I mean, Saafir ends his verse. He's like, God, that was whack. But I love it. I love it. You know, I know when you know, and you know that I know that you know that we know what Saafir was always capable of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And between me and you and the rest of the world, or whoever listens to this, I was glad to see Saafir in that light, to like see him having fun, and that just for a glimpse of the less serious Saafir. You know what I'm saying? Crawl before
Absolutely.
you fall. Yeah.
Because he's so serious on most of his solo material.
Yes. Big Mr. No-No.
Oh, dude, that the No EP was just crazy. Like
Okay.
every track.
We should have a future one of these BodyHat Weeklies where let's delve into that trigonometry, Mr. No-No, Saafir.
Yeah, I'd
Love
be
to.
into that.
Because Shock G was obviously involved with that too.
Mm-hmm.
And there was two of my favorite ever Shock G beats on that album.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're wrapping up topically on BodyHat Syndrome album. We've been through every track chronologically, and we just finished with We. What more can you say?
It's an album that we both love,
Yeah.
and if you aren't very familiar with it, it's worth giving it a real listen, and not the type of shit where you just like, skim through it, but actually listen to it like an album, like the way we used to listen to albums when they were actual physical products.
And if you
That's what I
like
my call.
two tracks, I'm saying.
Exactly. Yo, should we talk about what we want to do next week?
Okay, what do we want to do next week?
Like in book report fashion, and I feel like anybody in here is welcome to play along if we decide
All four
on an album to listen to before next week so that we can talk about it.
Do you know who you are, Sai?
Ooh.
Dude, you're Dave Sai, like the Dave Sai, like Oddities fame. Like, do you ever trip about that?
I'm not particularly.
You should. You have a right to.
Well, I appreciate you, man.
I feel like I got a right to, like, like catch myself off guard sometime. I'm like, oh shit, oh, I'm that guy. You know what I'm saying?
I think
this is the problem with like the age that we're living in with social media, and this is what I've always maintained is like, I don't like to give too much away, man. If you give too much away every day, you're online, all just talking or whatever. It feels like there's very little left for people to discover. You know what I'm saying? This is a side of like what we're talking about, like musically. You know what I'm saying? This is my stance. So This is one thing that has kept me from wanting to do a podcast, because I don't like just giving too much myself away. Which was when you and I decided what like topically we handle with this. That's cool, because I don't have to give shit away other than my opinion on certain records, and it's going to be more guests. You know what I'm saying?
We get to talk about other shit. I mean, look.
That's just a side note. I'd be remiss if I didn't share my feelings about that, man. Like rappers turning themselves into civilians, man. I'm no civilian. I'm Moka O, dude. Like, I hate to tell you, man, but that's what it is. Like, I didn't get into this shit and been doing it for 40 years to just Uncle Joe on the Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to make like some music that penetrates you and
for
feels
sure.
like.
Oh, and this is not like your next chapter or any shit like that. Like you are still very actively making music. You're making visual art.
And so
Still
are you,
killing
man.
it. You know.
Man, that's why it's like, yo, do you know who you are? Don't forget. Don't forget that you're Dave Psy, man. Like you're in the nope. Like we got a group together. Like that's
Yeah,
crazy,
we do.
man. We did
Yeah,
a
we
group. We got a couple projects out that could rival some of the weirdest shit ever in rap music, man. And they've largely gone unnoticed just because of timing, lack of budget, other things. But like, we might have to have one of these BodyHat Weekly things to give ourselves praise for being the. Because I feel like if we don't, who the hell will? That's how
Yo,
I feel.
I feel that. I feel that. I would love
Look,
somebody to give
Potato Head,
Melba the
Potato
scrutiny
Head
that we give joints
Melba,
like this.
Potato Head people just said Melba is one of our favorite albums. So thank you, Potato Head
Yeah.
people. That means a
Oh,
lot coming from, like I look up to Potato Head people in a big way, man, because I feel like, there's very few peers musically like that I can really like feel like I want to salute. So
they're
thank
amazing.
you.
They, I love what they do, and I'm proud to say that um, they are the West Coast Nick and Astro that I am super excited about.
Which is so wild. Like you break that down a little bit so they
Okay,
understand.
so for people who know about Potato Head people, um, they're a
Go ahead.
Vancouver-based production
On.
team.
Go ahead.
Presenting. Potato
Presenting.
Head people, they're a Vancouver-based production team that are really dope. And it's composed of two dudes named Nick and Astro.
Yeah.
And from where I come from, back in Toronto, my crew, the Oddities, we had some extended family and like DJs slash producers who toured with us,
Yep.
who went by the name Circle Research, and they are also Nick and Astro.
It's wild, right? Does
And
not
yeah,
ring like shades of Mob Deep versus the other Prodigy and Havoc on
yeah,
the
yeah,
West
yeah. What was it? From
Most Wanted,
South
right?
Central Cartel.
I'm sorry, not Compton. Yeah, South Central Cartel,
South
man.
Central Cartel. But that was CMW extended family.
Boom.
So you're not far off.
Boom. Yeah.
Brr. Okay, yo, let's make a decision. Did you not know that, yo?
Did I not know what?
I'm just responding to Potato Head's freaking comment. Wow, that's wild. Did y'all didn't know that about Circle Research? Gil Masuda, who is Astro the
Yeah.
Guillotine, and Nick Timar, he's now 1990 Knicks. And since we're talking about ourselves, I will say that me and 1990 Knicks are working on an EP together that's very close to being done.
Hey, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we got 5 little joints.
I didn't know
Moke's,
that,
Moke's displaying his arsenal for everyone.
bro.
Yo, what record are we gonna do next? What do you want to do?
I don't know. I think that deserves some thought before, like, unless you can just think of something right here on the spot. I don't know. How about Volume 10, Hip Opera?
Hip Opera is a great one.
That's a candidate, right?
Sorry,
That's a candidate to be
that's
considered.
that's a candidate. Should we like voice a few candidates and then like if people want to vote in the chat, they can or whatever?
I don't anybody care.
Maybe
That's
maybe people don't
that's my
care.
problem, which I was trying to say. Like, how can anybody care if like us in the hip hop community is just on every day, just giving everything away for free all the time?
Right.
That's what I know. There's a such thing as sharing, and that's what we're doing this here for. But I'm just like, it's hard to feel like anybody really cares. And fuck, man, this hip hop shit, man. This shit is
Well, hopefully we can make them care. What about another thing I was thinking about might be like Yak
Just
Fu Front.
that I noticed.
What?
You know? What?
Yeah.
I said not to be negative. I don't mean to be like a negative Nelly, you know? Tiffany Duncan.
No, I feel you. I'm hoping that through this we can make more people kind of care about some of the like less celebrated things.
Yeah.
So volume 10, I would love to do that. I have thoughts of like Yak Fu Front action-packed adventure.
Yeah,
Uh,
that would be, we could get like Damage or Jingle or Spin or whatever to join if they want to do that.
that would be crazy.
I don't know. That's an idea.
Yeah. Obviously, at some point, we have to do Trinity. I think that's a given.
Trinity. Oh, Slum Village. Yeah. Let's do that. And we should get T3 to join us. Because we can do like more than 2 people on this shit, right?
I think so.
I think you can do like 4. I don't know exactly.
There's a 1 on my camera. Oh, y'all so stupid. Great freaking suggestion. Fortune. That's a great call.
Stupid?
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Well,
that's a really good idea.
You can see people's comments, right?
I can, but I try not to, you know, I don't mean to ignore anybody, but it's like I'm just trying to like stick to the topic here, and I you know me.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to make sure I'm not the only one that it's like that it's visible to. Yeah. Okay.
Sure. It's hard to like get into a conversation, and I want people to be involved and say that you know what's on their mind, and also I don't catch it because I'm just like I'm a weirdo, bruh. Right?
All right. Well, yo, you know what we should do? How about after this, we'll just post on Instagram and you know and mention what we're thinking of doing next time and see if there's any comments on it, and if so, we might let that guide our decision, and if not, we do Pistol Grip Pump and it just be that. I mean, sorry, yeah, hip hop opera. Not just the single.
I mean, or unless you want to just like go right into Trinity for the next one.
I mean, the albums that we have geeked out over, that's the only one we might have geeked out over even more than BodyHat.
I don't know, man.
Comparable.
You and I have really tripped out about BodyHat for some time too, man. So I'm glad we got.
We have our own place. This sounds a little mantastic, but we have our own place that we listened to Trinity at.
Oh, we basically did like seance, like that kind of vibe. Then we had like candles and shit. Like,
yeah, it was special.
It was special. Still special.
All right. Yo.
If you don't celebrate good hip hop to that level, though, then what the fuck are you doing?
Right. I mean, look.
You know, as hip hop creators ourselves, like I got no shame to like tell you like the things that like moved me. You know what I mean? That move you.
Think about like the 60s and 70s where people were like following the dead around and trading recordings from like, you know, different performances and absolutely geeking out over like all the little nuances and shit like that.
Better example for you, I would say Zappa, bro.
Sure, Zappa, or even in the 90s, like Fish and shit like that. But like,
I know we're talking like from a Nope type of perspective.
Oh yeah, like, definitely.
We really gonna be talking Fish?
No.
Talk about Fish, bro.
No. But what I mean is, it has existed in other musical genres where people really freaking geek out about all of the isms and its and could be's and we don't really do that with hip hop the same way.
You don't even have to,
at least not in like a collected forum.
we don't even have to go that far back. Like, think of what we were doing in the 1990s. Like, we'd have our crew over to dissect albums. Like, that was a regular ass thing. I know everybody did that back then, man. Like, a new release came out, you having your people over, and you're gonna sit and you're gonna talk about it. You're gonna listen to it and stop the shit and be like, oh, I like that part where the guy with dude said blah blah blah. You know
Hell
what
yeah.
I'm saying? Very big bra, whatever.
Right. But, we did that with like, little friend groups. Hopefully we can expand this to something even a little bigger than that.
Yes.
All right. I got to
All
put the
right,
kid to bed.
let's go. I gotta go. I gotta take a shit.
Perfect. Let's
All
do
right.
this next week, man. I like this.
So don't forget, Sai, to archive this and keep it on your Instagram so people can check out what it's about. Because you can do that. This ain't just live. You archive this
Oh,
shit.
amazing. Okay. I'm going
When
to
you
figure out how to do that.
stop, it'll give you that. Should give you that option
The option. Okay. Oh, because I started.
post it to your reels.
For real.
Reels. All right.
For real. All right, y'all. Yo, thank you, everybody who
Thank you.
who tuned in. You definitely didn't have to. We appreciate your time. Hopefully, you got some cool tidbits out of this.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it sparked some kind of ideas.
How you couldn't get tidbits out of this shit, man? Because like we dropped a lot of tidbits, like for sure, right here at our fingertips.
I think so. All right, y'all.
Okay. Good night.
Signing out.
Good night. Peace, Buck. Uh, uh,